Hello and welcome to Lola Speak channel. Here we're talking about learning English as a second language, and yes, I'm holding my iPhone as a microphone.
Fly me to the moon.
I'm just trying to get a better sound in my home studio setup, and today's video is going to be very unusual. If you see in my last video, you know that I just became a mom. What a weird dance. It's some kind of a weird mom dance. So while I'm taking our time off our normal studio where everything is so bright with nice sound and lights, I decided instead of skipping a week to give you a real life lesson. What I mean by that, I decided to share phrases, idioms, and phrasal verbs that were actually popping up in my head throughout this month of being a mom. So instead of learning some theoretical concept of English, you can draw from my real life experience and learn the real deal.
So I apologize if this video is not perfect.
I don't do this in the studio, right? You can only do stuff like that at home. So the very first phrasal verb I've just used, to pop up. The words were popping up in my head. When something pops up, it appears unexpectedly out of nowhere. For example, new coffee shops are always popping up in the city. Or you even know the concept of a pop-up store. It's a store or some kind of an installation that just appeared for a certain amount of time, and then it will be gone. Like Gone Girl forever. It's a pop-up store. So as I said, all the words and phrases were popping up in my head. I didn't plan to think them. I didn't try to come up with some kind of a list. I just lived my life, and certain stories would bring certain words. So when we had our child, me and my husband, we were over the moon, this idiom. And whenever my friends would text me like, hey, how are you? How are you guys feeling? How's everything? And I'm like, we're over the moon, which means to be extremely happy. So when you're so happy, you're not on Earth, not on the moon, you're over the moon. I'm still over the moon. Like, oh my God. And I know, I think I'm gonna go soon. And I know different people are different. Yeah, duh, Lola. But for me, having a kid was a transformative experience. So when someone has a transformative experience, when something is transformative, it is when something is causing a major change. For example, before you thought it's so important to succeed, I don't know, in business. And then you're looking at this little human being and think, nothing else matters. And also there is a song by Metallica is playing in your head. Nothing else matters. Don't shoot me for copyright. That was a horrible performance. So for me, having a kid was a transformative experience because it changed a lot in my life. And it was transformative not only in all the possible good ways, but also in all possible bad ways. And what I mean by that the first months of being a parent is very tough because you're constantly sleep deprived. So when we're sleep deprived, we're lacking enough sleep. We're so tired and exhausted. And this lack of sleep is actually lowering your cognitive abilities. So you're not thinking clear. You're almost like some kind of a weird zombie. You're like, I remember the first week I needed to go to the store to pick up a special bra for mothers. Like if you're breastfeeding, you need a special bra. And then the store, I couldn't even think of the size I needed. And I was literally like standing there as a zombie. And I was thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm so sleep deprived. I can't even understand if I need small or medium or large or extra large. And it was bad. And besides you being so over the moon happy, sleep deprived and tired, you're stepping into a new world of parenthood. And I know different kids are different, and we've learned that. And people are having different experiences. Mine was not that easy, honestly. And I had a tough labor, and then I had an emergency C-section, and I didn't plan for that. And then I had to take time to recover, yet I wanted to be taking care of my kid. So I had this emergency experience. And then my newborn, he had something like first week, some kind of eye infection. And then I got some kind of inflammation. And then he got some kind of a rash. And I felt like I was putting out fires constantly. When we're putting out fires, it means that we're dealing with one problem after another. So you just put out fire here, the new has started here. And you're just running and putting out fires. So one issue comes up after another one. And it goes on and on and on. I'm not complaining. I'm just being honest. I do still think that having a kid is one of the best things that has ever happened to me. And I just needed to say that. All right. But in the same time, the amount of knowledge that I didn't have and that I had to pick up very quickly was huge. Because one issue was popping up after another one. Popping up, we can use it here as well. I had to learn a lot of things, and you're so tired, you're sleep deprived, and you're Googling nonstop. You're asking friends, you're asking doctors, you're asking your relatives. And I was having this image and thinking about the concept of learning curve in my head. The concept of learning curve, usually we use this phrase in a context to cut the learning curve, to shorten the learning curve, or somebody can think about the learning curve as being so steep. I was thinking in my head, just literally this phrase was in my head, the learning curve, the learning curve. And the concept of learning curve is the concept of, first of all, it's the graphics. The concept of us putting a lot of efforts, putting a lot of time at the beginning and not getting the progress yet, or getting the progress very slowly because we're learning the learning curve. When later, much smaller amount of efforts, much smaller amount of time you will need to get the bigger and better result. Basically, we'll learn by doing something. But at the very beginning, when you're doing first time, anything you're doing the first time, you're holding your child the very first time, you're breastfeeding the first time. First time in my life, I had a major surgery. First time in my life, me and my partner, we had someone to take care of, this innocent little amazing creature who depends on us, who expects you to know the answers, how to do things, and you don't know. Because you don't know what you need to know until it happens. I felt this sounds like a session with my psychologist instead of the YouTube video. Should I pause? The doctor just called me, I gotta go, but I will continue. So I had to stop the recording because I was expecting a call from a doctor. We were supposed to have an appointment, but they were running late and they asked us to be expecting a call. And as soon as they were ready, they were expecting us to come. And I got this call, so I had to run, but I will continue explaining the words that were coming up in my mind throughout this first month. But as you can see, it's very difficult to plan things because one thing is coming right after another one. And speaking of kids, speaking of newborns specifically, it's always something that is happening with them, and you as a new parent, sometimes you're not prepared that they will have a lot of little issues which are normal. For example, like eye infection or tummy problem or eating problem. Actually, breastfeeding is a whole big new topic. So a lot of all this, like the whole pool of these issues is very overwhelming. And overwhelming is the next word. So overwhelming means difficult to handle, when something is like too much, and it's this part over is like more than you can handle, yeah, sometimes you feel just overwhelmed. For example, right now we were in the car and I got nauseous and baby started crying, so I gotta forget my needs and I gotta feed him, so it could be overwhelming. Let's be honest, when you get your first kid, it's overwhelming. I love you more than anything in the world. Next word, next phrase actually is a bonding experience. So breastfeeding is a great bonding experience for you because you're bonding with your baby. Bonding is an activity or event that helps people develop closer relationship. You know, usually when you're going through some, not tough times, but when you have a situation you gotta handle in a certain way, it helps you connect, it helps you to bond. So breastfeeding is a great bonding experience for you and your baby because he's eating your tit. What a great explanation. And you can have actually bonding experience with anyone. And you don't have to feed someone with your tit necessarily, unless it's your kid. And the last but not the least phrase that I will give you in this video was a phrase to get a shot. So the very first part of this video, when I was recording back home, then I gotta stop because we gotta go to the doctor to get a shot. So when babies are born, they get different types of vaccines, and when you're getting a vaccine, it is called a shot, you know. So it's interesting because a lot of non-native speakers thinking about the word shot, we think about, well, shooting, or we think about drinking shot, but not a lot of us know that shot is also a medicine injection. So, and to get a shot, someone had to get a shot, so I gotta stop. Okay, that was it for today. Let's go over the list once again. Pop up, when something pops up, it appears or happens fast, accidentally, unexpectedly. Over the moon, when we're over the moon, it means that we're extremely happy, we're extremely pleased. Transformative, when we have a transformative experience, this experience causes a major change or something has a big impact on our life or someone else's life. Sleep deprived, when we're sleep deprived, we're lacking enough sleep. We just need to get some rest. Putting out fires, when we're putting out fires, we're dealing with urgent problems And usually we're dealing with one problem, and then right away we start dealing with another problem, like solving problems, with the whole idea that one problem comes up after another one, and we gotta deal with it. The learning curve. Actually, I have a definition. The rate at which someone learns something new, often illustrated as a line or a curve, but practically speaking, it's the process of learning that assumes that first you put a lot of effort and you learn, and not a lot of result because you're learning, and then you're putting less effort but more progress because you've learned things. You've got through your learning curve. Get the hang of something, get the hang of it, get the hang of breastfeeding. In my case, is when you're learning to do something well, and when you need to get the hang of it, you need to put on work to get to learn to do it. Overwhelming, very intense, or difficult to handle. Bonding experience. I love bonding experience. It's an activity or event that brings people closer. Practically, it's I think it's like, honestly, shared experience, shared in a positive way. You know, bonding is getting closer, getting to know each other, becoming more intimate in a sense of liking each other. To get a shot, in the context of medicine, it means to get an injection, usually with vaccine. If you like this video, let me know in comments. And if you want to practice speaking English, if you want to practice speaking this pack, pronouncing the sentences, speaking in a context, download Lola Speak app, find our YouTube pack, find this lesson, and just go down the list. Our AI will give you feedback on your pronunciation, on your speech, will help you to improve your pronunciation by showing you your mistakes and showing the ways to correct them. My name is Lola. Learn English, have fun, have kids. Motherhood is awesome. See you soon.